Good morning, everyone. Our opening song this morning is This Joy. You'll find it in your songbooks under T for this. Please join us in filling our sanctuary with song this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I have an atypical announcement for us. The water is off in this building, so if you need to use the facilities in any way that involves water, you will need to go to Harmony Hall, and they think they have water over there, or so I'm told. Okay, so welcome to Pasadena New Thought Center. We are a New Thought, ancient wisdom congregation that believes in the power of our God-aligned thoughts in the form of prayer, meditation, and affirmation to create a reality that is a happy, healthy, and abundant one. It's quite marvelous to see your smiling faces here today. My name is Steve, and it's my privilege to facilitate the service here today. And a special warm welcome to any newcomers with us today. You're among friends here, and we are so glad that you felt called to join us. And speaking of calls, if you haven't already done so, please take a second to silence your phone, unlike me. Spirit doesn't need an electronic device to deliver its message to you. All right, well, walls come down, and community is created when we acknowledge the God presence that is alive within each and every one of us. To do this, we do something called our circle of love. And to do this, for our moment of fellowship, please raise the palms of your hands towards one another as we create this circle of love. Keeping your eyes open, imagine God's loving energy emitting from your right hand as you receive it with your left. As we make eye contact with our fellow spiritual travelers, give thanks for their presence here today. Expand this loving energy to all the names in our prayer box, all of the members of our church who are not here with us today, and for our society at large. Thank you. Namaste. Okay, so our speaker today is Jeffrey Lopez, and I have a wonderful bio here. And you know what? He sent me like a really cool one. I'm going to read the shorter one, just because that's where my mind is at right now. So Jeffrey Lopez is the founder of the Sound Investors, whose work blends self-mastery, spirituality, leadership, creativity, and community building. His messages focus on helping people remember their inherent greatness, live with more clarity, and turn spiritual principles into everyday practice. And I'm really looking forward to his message today. I think when he first spoke here, I want to say it was in February this year, he had this nice 3-part series that just went so deep, and it was just very worthwhile. The title of his talk today is The Nature of Your Inherent Greatness. And so for my short and sweet inspiration about that, I looked for, as I usually do, quotes that have something to do with that. And I found a lot that Gandhi said about greatness being tied to humanity, which is tied to how kind you are to the lesser of us. And I like some of those. But there's this one that struck me from, it was Chief Red Eagle. And he said this thing about angry people want to show you how powerful they are, but loving people want to show you how powerful you are. And I think that's what our church is all about. So that would be about it as far as the short, inspiring story goes. Next, we do our statement of being. This is something to help us affirm and align in our intention for today's service by reciting it together. You can find it in our hymnals, I believe. This statement of being expresses our willingness to open our hearts and minds to receive the infinite, endless store of good God always has in mind for us. And so we're going to say it together. I am spirit. I think, see, feel, and live as spirit in the presence of God. And through the power of God in me, am able to manifest the perfection of spirit in mind, body, and environment. Thank you. Okay, so I can see I did that out of order. I sort of introduced Jeff and gave you his talk, and I should have done the other one first, but it's all good. It's all good material. So, uh, so now this is the part where we do our meditation. I believe Reverend Barbara is going to come up and do that for us.
Good morning. This is our time to go within. So get comfortable in your chair. Put anything down that might distract you. Take a deep breath. And if you're comfortable in doing so, close your eyes. As we breathe in love and we breathe out joy. We breathe in love and we breathe out peace. Relaxing your body from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Give in to this beautiful joy, this beautiful love, this beautiful peace. Let my words be your words. My mind quiets in the presence of divine peace. My mind quiets in the presence of divine peace. In the silence of prayer, I hear a whisper of truth. In the silence of prayer, I hear a whisper of truth. God is the breath of life, the vitality in my body and my being. God is the breath of life, the vitality in my body and my being. I am rich in divine ideas, wealthy in divine abundance. I am rich in divine ideas, wealthy in divine abundance. The road ahead may be unseen, but I walk by faith and not by sight. The road ahead may be unseen, but I walk by faith and not by sight. And now as we go into the sacred silence, relax in these affirmations, knowing that all is in divine right order. All is God and all is good. as we prepare to come back to the sanctuary. Feel that peace and that joy in your heart, knowing that we can return to this sacred space at any time, for it dwells within each one of us. Take a deep breath, feeling your feet on the floor, being present here in the sanctuary. Gently open your eyes. And so it is.
We're going to sing the song Happiness Runs, and if you would like to sing with us, it's under H in your songbooks.
Little pebble upon the sand, now you're lying here in my hand. How many years have you been here? Little human upon the sand, from where I'm lying here in your hand. You to me are but a passing breeze. The sun will always shine where you stand, depending in which land you may find yourself. Now you have my blessings, go your way. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness runs, happiness runs.
Why, oh,
Because,
why, oh,
because,
why, oh,
because,
why, oh.
because happiness runs in a circular motion. That is like a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. You can have everything if you let yourself be. Happiness runs, happiness runs. Happiness Happiness runs, happiness runs. 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 Happiness runs, happiness runs.
Welcome in, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Took me a while to get up front because I'm also doing the AV in the back. Part of being a growing church as we transition, right? So really quick, I just want to ask somebody, or I want to ask everybody here today. Are you ready to go deep? Deep into the mind? Deep into self-introspection? All right. So before we do that, though, I invite everyone to close their eyes and just feel into their breath. And I invite you to do a piece of breath work that I learned this week. Inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 6 seconds, and do that for 5 repetitions. Now, as you feel back into your body and back into this space, I want to let you know that the reason we started with that is because nervous system regulation is one of the key elements of tapping into our inherent greatness. And as we talk about inherent greatness, I want to ask anybody here, and please raise your hand if you've ever had any kind of issues with self-worth. And if you don't want to raise your hand, it's okay. Sometimes we don't want to admit it. But you know what? Self-worth, you can't hear me out there? Oh, just enunciate. I'm sorry. My wife is telling me to enunciate because she just reminded me I constantly mumble. So I will enunciate for everyone to hear me a little better. And it probably is better for me to speak loud if I'm going to talk about inherent greatness, right? We're up here to demonstrate our inherent greatness and not to shrink based on what other people think and what we think about what other people think. And one of the questions I have for you right now is, who do you think you are? And I'm sure we've all heard that in one way or another, either in a good way or in a bad way. And the next question I have for you is, who determines who you are? Do you? Does your family? Does society? Does your job? And if they do, again, that's okay. We're all in different parts of our journey. And one thing we'll cover a lot in today's topic is non-judgment, because that's probably one of the key things that help us keep moving forward in our journey is the non-judgment. Because one thing I learned in my personal journey of learning how to observe myself is the better I got at observing myself, the worse I thought I was. constantly be like, oh, dude, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Really? You just did that? Even everything you know? And I bring that up because many times when we see people that we look up to a lot and that we think are, oh, just so great and have nothing wrong with them, it's not true. And it's true that there is nothing wrong with them, but they might think there's something wrong with them. Or we might think there's something wrong with them based on what we believe, right? And again, this goes back to inherent greatness and self-worth. Because one thing I've learned about power dynamics and energy is that if we don't believe in, and again, if you don't believe in God or source or the creator, or you don't like those words, we'll take it back to some scientific basics where the basic fundamental source or essence that we have in this realm is energy. So I'm talking about source energy. And source energy has been proven that it can't be destroyed and it can't be created, right? Which basically means that it's constantly moving and always providing. So if that's true, if I can tap into that source energy, I no longer have to think that I have to use people or things in order to get my energy or to have energy over others. And this plays into self-worth because I realize that the only reason I would want to demean someone else is it because I feel lesser than and I have to somehow make myself feel better than. Okay. 1 second. The divine is speaking to the speakers for us. And as inherently great beings, we know how to troubleshoot and work on the fly. We don't let things like that shake our nerves, right? We just go along with the flow and we keep going. So I was going to talk about our self-worth and how in energy dynamics, if we believe that we aren't tapped into an infinite source, then we believe that we have to go get our energy from somewhere else. And again, source doesn't have to be a spiritual or religious thing. This is another thing I found out more recently. And I'm not trying to downplay spirituality or the divine or anything like that. It's more about the language that people speak. There's a lot of people that have just been traumatized completely by language that speaks in terms of God, Jesus, anything religious or spiritual like that, right? And I realized that even in the spiritual world, when we talk like that, there's some people that can't resonate with that, and that makes them feel like they can't connect with God. So that's why the topic or the title of my talk is Your Inherent Greatness. Because at the end of the day, all we're talking about here is something that already lives inside of you and that always has lived inside of you. It's something that nobody can touch and that nobody can damage because it is beyond this physical world and it's beyond any quote unquote power that evil people have. You know, many times we get caught up in this belief that just because these people that are screaming and yelling that they have power, we feel like we have to agree with them and that we have to agree with what they're doing, and that's not true. And, you know, I see a couple of men from the men's group I went to this weekend. We were talking about that a little bit, about how we want to go beyond what's physically in front of us and remember that there's something more than that, because if we get caught in the physical, then we get limited to the physical. And many times we don't know how to go beyond the physical. And that's why I'm here to give you some practical steps. And one of the things that I've been doing probably for the last 2 years or so, I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Neville Goddard, but he has a technique called state akin to sleep. And this is his explanation of a scientifically proven modality, which is basically the 10 minutes before you go to bed and then 10 minutes after you wake up, you're in a different type of brainwave state, which is more open to different dimensions. And if we focus on certain things right before bed and right when we wake up, we tend to put ourselves in a state of being that now is determined by what we have done instead of what the outside is doing. And me being someone who is always looking for something sustainable and something I can keep up consistently, I was thinking, what could I possibly do every night and every morning without fail? And eventually I came up with the simplest thing I could think of. Just constantly say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you to everything. Because if I constantly say thank you, to me, it was like basically like a hack. So it was like, instead of having this huge list of things to say thank you for and hope that eventually come together, why don't I just keep constantly saying thank you and let the universe fill in all those blanks? And after a year and a half, it's pretty much the only thing I say. Have you ever gone through a whole day just saying thank you? It's something else. I didn't know I was going to get this emotional. But yeah, it's just really interesting to see how something so simple can revolutionize your life. But at the same time, there's this saying that always says that God is subtle and not spectacular. And that's why most people overlook God, because they think it's supposed to be some extravagant fireworks show. But it's not. And the reason it's not is because anyone can put on a fireworks show. But who can demonstrate peace and calm when everything in front of them is going absolutely insane? That's where your power lies. And that's what your true essence is. Because, you know, I'm thinking of Genesis 1:26, and the verse says, "Let us make man in our image, our likeness, and let them have dominion." And many people, when they look at that, they don't really understand what's going on. And I didn't for probably 20 years until I started really understanding what was going on and got interested enough to actually research what all these things meant. And the image of something, if you think about it, an image is something you see, right? So immediately we're already thinking, oh, if there is a God, I'm going to see, because it says in its image, right? But at the same time, the whole one thing I learned from this guy named Miles Monroe is that the beauty of the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of God is that they're invisible. So when you start living from the perspective of the kingdom, people have no idea what you're doing or why you're doing it, because they can't see your inner governance. They can't see the amount of self-worth and self-respect you've built for yourself over time, realizing who you are and what you're here to do, right? And I'm not here to tell you you're here to do something specific, because it's not my place to tell you what to do. From my understanding, what I'm here to do is represent the divine and remind people that they have inherent greatness in them. And it's not to do it in a pushy way. It's not to do it in a convincing way. It's not to do it in any kind of salesy type of way, because what I'm learning through building my inherent greatness is that when you're in touch with the divine, you feel so whole that you lose all interest in doing and in bringing somebody down or bringing anything down, because you understand that there's a unity that once we tap into it, the more we spread it and give it to people, the more it amplifies itself. And going back to energy dynamics, you know, I'm a sound guy, so I'm always thinking in currency flow and how things are flowing. And once I saw the connection between sound and circulation, because if you think about circulation, what's the first thing you think about? Probably blood flow, right? And if your blood isn't circulating, are you healthy? Not really. What happens when we stop circulating blood? If we get a blood clot, we're having issues, right? So if we make an analogy to the way we live our lives and things and everything else, even energy and thoughts, if we hold on to something too long, we're basically telling the divine, I own it, not you. And I know that's kind of harsh when we're thinking about ownership, but it's not in the sense of what we usually think in terms of, because when we think ownership, especially in the United States, there's so much capitalism and so many things like that. When we think ownership, we think if I don't have it, if I don't own it, then someone's going to take it from me and I can't have it. And while that might be part of the culture here, that doesn't mean that we have to agree with it. We can agree with something much bigger, which is the circulation of the kingdom. And that's not my topic today, so I won't go too far into it, but I will touch on it. Basically, the commonwealth of the kingdom reminds us, and there's Buddhist sayings and other philosophies that say this: own nothing and you will be happy. And it sounds cool, but then we come into the practical world and like, how is that even possible? And I finally understood that it doesn't mean that, it means to not hoard. So let's just say my car, right? I paid it off, I own it. But again, the music starts. I don't know what's going on. I think I remember why this music keeps turning on. I was going to start my speech with this, but I forgot. Every time I grab a handheld mic, I get ready to rap. Because most of you probably don't know this, but I used to be a battle rapper. I used to use my words to bring people down, and that's why I switched it up. And again, it's because I started to realize how much power my words had. And back to self-worth, I felt like I needed to demean everyone else to make sure that I looked the best. And once I realized that that wasn't working out very well, I started to switch it. And when I started to switch it, I started to see my world change. And I started to see that not only is it possible for things to get better, but you actually have influence on that happening. So who here so far actually believes that they have influence over their life? I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And it's important because, again, back to self-worth, if I truly believe that my opinion and my thoughts and the way I look at things doesn't matter, if I truly believe that, am I ever going to speak up? Am I ever going to say anything? Probably not. And even when I do and I try, with the way societies and cultures are nowadays, if people don't understand their inherent greatness, they're going to try to bring you down as soon as they possibly can, which is why many times so many of us feel terrified to make a mistake, because we think somebody's going to look at us and someone's going to berate us, someone's going to make us look bad. And while that exists a lot in job cultures, I see it also in the culture of the world, where we walk around on eggshells doing our best not to be ourselves because we want to fit in. But in the back of our mind, all we keep thinking all day is, why can't people just love me for who I am? Yet we don't realize that we're not giving people the opportunity to love us for who we are, because we keep putting on masks and we keep trying to fit in. And over time, society and culture told us that our weirdness, our uniqueness was bad and wasn't wanted and wasn't necessary and didn't help. Yet it's the one thing that's going to help set you free. Because all of the things that you think are easy for you, if you have self-worth issues, then you think, if I can do this, it has no value. because I can do it. And since I don't have any value, why does it matter to anybody, right? But once we realize that the reason it's so easy for us is because that's our divine gift, now, again, life starts to look very differently. Because me being on this stage talking to you is a proven example of what I'm talking about. I just wanted to come in and help with the live stream, and through talking with the congregation and doing my best to be a representative of the kingdom and be of service, it all led up to me not only being on the stage, but now I'm part of the board of directors and really helping this congregation get back to where it used to be and its greatness, because I see that they're here, to spread the love and the wisdom of the kingdom. And one thing before I forget, because we're almost out of time, again, I'm gonna invite everyone to just take a deep breath and close your eyes. Now imagine the last time somebody said, "Thank you for being you." Or the last time that somebody said, "I couldn't have done this without you." Another powerful one is, you're the only one that could have done that. Now, my next question is, do you agree? And keep your eyes closed, and those who agree with me, raise your hands. Whether you believe you have inherent greatness or not, I do, and I will do my best to keep reminding you of that. Because once you agree with it, there's nothing that can stop you. Literally nothing. And nobody. Because, I think of the other Bible verse where it says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all things will be added unto you." I realize that if you want to put that in practical terms, it's basically God saying, "Yo, dog, you're dope." And us saying, "No, I'm not." And since the divine isn't pushy and gives grace, it says, "Okay, if you don't agree, that's fine. Since I don't live in time, I can wait. If I don't get it from you, I'll get it from your kids. If I don't get it from them, I'll get it from their kids. I can wait." But as soon as you agree that you are dope, your life gets much better. And again, back to what I was talking about with the thank you, because I forgot to touch on why that became so powerful, is because if we look at neuroscience, every time we say something in our brain activates, and it's part of a neural network, right? Our neurons fire and things start happening. So what I didn't know at the time is that every time I said thank you, I was basically growing the roots of my thank you tree. And now 2 years later, I'm reaping the benefits of the fruits. And I can tell you that the fruit tastes amazing. Now, I'm not saying that life is all roses and everything, but what I can tell you is that now all of the challenges, they don't scare me anymore. And it's not because I think it's me, it's because I've learned that once you can tap into the infinite and to the divine, you don't have to do the work. The only hard work is using our mind to tap into the infinite. It can take care of the rest. The problem that most people have is that since they don't believe in the infinite, it doesn't happen, and part of all of this rides on your belief. And not because it's a religious thing, it's because it's a neural thing. It's part of if we're looking at the physical body, it's part of who you are, because we've learned that we're vibrational beings. We know that everything is energy. And if you think about it, when we speak, what's happening? air pressure is changing and it's making vibrations. So every time you speak something, you're basically creating the world. And well, you're not creating, you're influencing the world. And it might sound a little outlandish, but again, going back to our self-worth, if I don't believe my thoughts do anything, then I'm never going to observe my thoughts. And I can go years basically just trashing myself in the world and then having a horrible life and then never understanding why. It's not to, judge ourselves for it, because we all do it at some point, right? And it's also I pause for so long because does anybody go through this process when they're feeling just totally inspired, and then the ego just slowly creeps in and does its thing and says, "What are you doing? Why are you talking? You know nobody's listening to you, right?" And I admit it because it does go through my head while I'm talking to people. But at the same time, I understand that these are just thoughts and they're not who I am. Because another thing that I find fascinating is that science has proven that thoughts don't live in our head. They're just part of the energy that moves around. And since thoughts don't live in our head, that means whatever thought you think of is only yours when you decide it's yours. And this goes back to ownership. That's why I don't own anything. Because when Miles Monroe said, if you don't own anything, it's impossible for someone to steal from you. I was like, oh, dude, that's all I needed. I don't own anything. I don't own anything. Why? Because if I trust in circulation and I know that circulation happens, and that circulation in the kingdom of heaven basically means once I let something go, it's going to come back to me, but in much better shape. And the reason it's going to do that is because that's the way the kingdom system works. And if you really want to go beyond religion and spirituality and all that, if you really want to look at all of this, when we talk about God, it's just a system. It's a belief system. Everybody has a God. It's just not the same God. Because anything that influences the way you act in your life is your God. It could be anything. It could be your car. It could be money. It could be spirituality. It could be religion. It could be anything. Whatever runs your life is your God. And if you can tune into the kingdom, you start to realize that now you're in charge, not somebody else, and not the world. And once you understand that the world doesn't determine who you are, you start to take what people say less seriously. Because again, from personal experience, as I move up in my journey and I start talking to more people about what I'm doing, there's people from my past that are saying, why are you doing that? You know who you are. You know what you used to do. But why am I going to let them determine my future? I might have done that. I'm not going to deny that I did all that stuff. But what I did do with that stuff that some people might not have done is learn from it. I learned from it, I grew from it, and now I'm doing my best to teach others how to grow from it as well, because part of being inherently great is succession and knowing that it's not all about me, it's not all about you in the sense of an egotistical sense. It is all about you in the terms of you understanding and agreeing with your inherent greatness, because the only person's decision that matters in your life is yours. And once it's in alignment with the divine, you no longer have to be doing a lot of hard work physically. It's just about tuning your mind, because once you tune your mind, the body starts to follow. Your nervous system starts to regulate. And once the nervous system is regulated, your body starts to heal. You start to feel better. Your thoughts improve. Everything starts to get better. Not that things won't be challenging still, but it'll feel a lot better than it does right now if you're not feeling great. So as we wrap up, one last time, please close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. I speak these words to remind you that you do have inherent greatness. You can tap into the divine. You don't need anybody's permission to meet with the divine. The divine has already authorized you. You are worthy of love no matter what your past. You are enough as you are. You don't need to prove anything to anybody, and you are complete. Nothing is missing, and you are here to demonstrate your mastery, or to demonstrate your self-mastery. Thank you very much.
Well, guess what time it is? It's that time that we give back a portion of that we've received in this life, knowing that everything that we give from our heart joyfully and lovingly returns to us tenfold. If you have your gift, hold it between your hand of giving and the hand of receiving. If you've already put it in the basket, please raise your hands to bless our offering as we say together the saying that's on the first page of your songbook. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. And so it is.
Wasn't that wonderful? Thank you so much, Jeff. That was great. Very deep. Coming back up now. Okay, so this is where we are going to thank everyone that had a part in making this such a wonderful service today. Starting with the choir. Thank you. And Tom. And I know everybody we're supposed to thank. So we want to thank Elaine for bringing the flowers today. Thank you so much. And all of you who could be here today, thank you so much. Give yourselves a big hand for Reverend Barbara, who always does such a wonderful job and led us in our meditation today. And we have we have an announcement, I think, from Hoberly.
So the good news is the board hired an office manager and a bookkeeper, and who will take over for the 3 volunteers who've been running the office. And the better news is, because of that, we get to have 3 new volunteers who will get to count the money after church on Sundays. So if you're a regular congregant and you plan on being here most Sundays, I can train you right after the service. And it's really easy. You can use your fingers and your toes. You can use paper and pencil, or you can even use the calculator on your phone, as long as you both get the same answer. It'll take like less than 10 minutes, but we would really, really appreciate that. So Anyone who's interested, meet me in the narthex after the service.
There was one more thing. Marilee could not be here today. Her husband is recovering from an arm injury, and I hear that he's doing well. So hopefully our prayer circle and the congregation can keep their prayers going for her. And she's asking for prayers for something like our sister congregation led by Reverend Shannon in Hawaii, because there was a big storm, is what I was told. So please keep your prayers in mind for them. And you're invited, I believe, for refreshments in Harmony Hall afterwards. And I guess that's just about it. Jeff is going to come up and do the benediction, and then we'll have a closing song.
Now, before we close it out, just one last thing. We will be having an open board meeting next Sunday on the 23rd. So if anyone wants to hear about all of the progress we've had over the last month, please stay after the service next Sunday and join us in Harmony Hall for an update on how everything is going with the church. Now, for the last time in the sanctuary today, at least, I invite you to all close your eyes and take a deep breath. We say thank you to the divine for bringing us all together today. Whether we know it or not, so many things had to go just exactly how they did in order for us to get here and be together and to focus our energy, our attention, and our intention on love, gratitude, joy, and abundance, knowing that when we get together and tune into these frequencies, we're not only helping ourselves, we're helping the world, and we are doing our part as ambassadors of the Spirit. We close it out by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Our final song for the service today is Ode to Peace. You'll find it in your songbooks under O, and it's to the tune of Ode to Joy.